Hey everybody, it's Miguel. Just gonna show you, kind of just walk you through of how to turn everything on, get it ready for the 21 days of prayer. So here we go. You're gonna come to our AV electrical closet, which is the second to last door down the hallway. So you have two boxes. This one's our lighting. You're gonna open it up. You're gonna go from on all the way down to here. Just flip them all on. Just like that. And you'll come over here for the audio. This one's difficult. Green button means on. Click it, and there you go. Next, we're gonna come into our A control room, and we're gonna have two buttons. It'll say front of house switcher 2. You're gonna click on that button, and then you're gonna click the same one on the bottom row. Next, you're gonna come to right here. It says fuse. Make sure you click that button. After you've done that, you're gonna come to this bad boy. It looks a little scary, but all you gotta do is come to living as one, and you're gonna press the power for that. Next, we're gonna move on to the front of house. So let's go. So we made it to front of house. So first we're gonna start off with lights. We're at our lighting console. You're gonna come to this little guy first. You're gonna click on it and hit relays. And you'll press to turn on. It'll turn that on. Now there's a switch in the back. You're gonna hit that guy on to turn this board on. Now while the board is getting going, you can go ahead and turn on our PVP computer, which is actually already up and running for us, so we're good there. But if it's not, just like the back of house, A control computers, production, same thing, password and all that's all the same. Now that our lighting board is all ready to go, we're gonna press launch existing show. Now once that loads, you'll get this little guy. It'll say 21 days. So we're good there. We're gonna come up to this top, press show. And now all of this will come up. Now whoever's running lights on Sunday or even on fuse, we'll make sure that we set it back for 21 days of prayer that night so that we're ready to go for the morning. All right, so now you got this. We're gonna come back to this little guy. We're gonna go to 1 through 9, and then you're gonna press event off. That'll help us lower these auditorium lights. So now we're going to press 21 days, and we're going to press the play button. And there we go. Our lighting look is all ready. Now that we've done lighting, we got PVP pretty much ready. We're going to move over to our living as one, just like how it was in the back. It's the same up here in the front. So all you got to do, the username, password's already set in. You just gotta press enter and it'll sign in for us. Now this screen will show up. You're gonna have events. You're gonna click on that, and you're gonna click on the 21 days of prayer and make sure we get that going. You're gonna press select event and then clear. Now once that loads, you're gonna take your mouse here. You're gonna move it to queues, which is right underneath events, and then they'll give you cues. Anderson will give you cues of whenever they're getting ready to start. And so this is the one from the first day of the 21 days of prayer. Campus in, you can just press go to, and it'll take us right to whenever they're ready to start. And then from there on, you can just press play and you're pretty much ready to go. So once you get your Living One computer up and running, what you're gonna do is you're gonna come to this little guy, which is kind of like the big switcher board in the atrium, but in mini version. So what we're gonna do is whenever we're at Anderson, which is pretty for the most part of it, what we're going to do is you're going to click Anderson, and it'll be blinking. You see that red button blinking? This is the one time you can click the big red blinking button. You're going to click on it, and it'll switch it'll put Anderson up on the screens for us. And then whenever we are at local, so whenever we're having our own pastor, Darren or Caleb or somebody speaking, and we use our background screens, what we're going to do is press PVP all 3. It'll flash again, click the big red button, and whatever is on our PVP computer will now be on the big screens. So there's the only 3 main buttons we really got to press for that. Now we're going to move on to audio. So we're going to come down to this little guy, this little box right here. And you see this one where this little green light is? You're going to flip, there's this little switch right here. You're going to pull that on, and then that green light's going to turn on. So that's going to turn on the main power. And then for the actual board itself, there's a little switch right in the back by this little jack. And you're going to turn that on, and then that'll get that ready to go. Now, this is the computer that's right next to the audio board. It's our Mac Mini computer. So you're going to come to this one. You're going to go to Pro Tools, and you're going to type in the password, which will have a little piece of paper written down next to it for you guys. Now, once you get that going, the board should be ready to go for that. But before we get there, we're going to show you. You're going to come to Merle.nw, and it looks like this. You're going to double click on that, and this will pop up. So this is what gets the amps going, so that way we can turn them on or unmute them, per se. And then after that, we're going to go to Spotify. Now that you got that done, we're going to move on to our audio board. So again, just like lighting for audio, we're going to make sure, or try to make sure, that on Sundays for Fuse, that whoever's running audio is going to have it set for the 21 days of prayer that day. But in case that it's not, what you're going to do is you're going to take your mouse, and you move it over to filing, and then you're going to make sure that it's lit up on load, not save, transfer, or history, load. So it should be gray like that. Then you're going to click on Miguel, and then 21 Days of Prayer, which should be the first one up. Once that's going, you're going to come over here and press Config. Click that. That way, load is able to actually load. And then you're going to click on load, and it'll load that show up for you. Once you get that, you can come up here to the snapshots, where we have 5 different snapshots. We have the iPod, counter, broadcast, which is the Anderson, or local host, and then iPod again for the end. So now again, you don't have to touch too much. So you have your board. This is our main page, and you shouldn't have to go through any of the other buttons, but you have our local host speaking mic, which is Vox 6. You have the Anderson worship. You have 2 channels for that. And then you have the Anderson, whoever's speaking that day at Anderson. Now in our next group, we have our video, which is our PVP computer. So like counter, which mainly we're going to be using for this is our counter, will come through this channel right here. Next is the iPod, which for 21 Days of Prayer, we really won't be using that much, but I put it in there just in case we have to. And then our Mac Mini, which is that computer, which will have our main music for whenever we're praying, whenever our host is speaking, any moments like that. So that'll come through that. Now I'm going to show you how to run through all of these snapshots. So the snapshots has all these faders in them to move a certain way to a certain level whenever you go through. So right now it's set on our iPod, which has the Mac Mini music that'll come through. And now if you press this button right here, there's a whole bunch of buttons. The only one the 2 that you really have to worry about, and the only one you really have to worry about, is this one right here. It says 10. So that's what's going to make it go next. If I click that button, you'll see it goes to the next one. And then the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one. And then if I click 9, it'll go back. Just like that. So as you see, I'll click the button. You'll see the faders move from iPod to counter. Just like that. So that's all you got to worry about. Now from there, when you're moving through the snapshots, if you feel like you need to bump up some audio for something or turn it down a little bit, you can just come to whatever fader you think needs to come down, whether it's part of the Anderson worship or the speaker or our music that we play. If you seem it's too loud, just pull it down just a little bit. If it's not loud enough, you just push it up and then it'll work just like that. Now that you've gotten all the audio and everything set up, we're going to come down here. And so these little white boxes is what makes the audio go outside into the or out in the atrium or even outside. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this knob and put it on B, which is program. So anything that comes through the board or through the main speakers, it will go outside. And we'll just do, for the one on the outside, we'll just leave on pre, which will be playing normal music. And we're going to unmute you. So you're going to press unmute, and that'll do that one. And then for the one in the atrium and the hallways, there's a button and switch for that right by the door. And what you're going to do is unmute it, and there will be audio ready to go play for the outside. Now we're going to turn on the atrium TVs. So we have a plethora of controllers here. The one we need is this Samsung one. So we're going to grab that. Once you grab your control, you're going to walk out to the atrium, press the power button, and just walk around to all of the TVs and just turn them all on. And just keep walking around till you get all the atrium TVs on. Now we're going to walk through on how to turn it all off now. So first, we're going to start with audio. You're going to come back to your Mac mini computer. You're going to come to this window right here. If it's on Spotify, make sure you click on this guy, and it'll come up to this window. First, you're going to go to tuning and then press master. And that's going to mute all of our speakers for us, which is great. Now you're going to come back to the board. You're going to take your mouse and you're going to move it all the way to options. Now that you're in options, we're going to come back to our config button. We're going to click on it to where it says config. If it doesn't say config, it'll say show, and you won't be able to press any of the buttons on the computer. So you got to make sure it says config. Now we're going to take our mouse and we're going to scroll it all the way down to shut down. You're going to click on it. This box will come up to make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. And click shut down. And boom, it'll turn the brain off, which is that little guy back down there. So now all you have to do here is flip the switch. Now, after you shut off the audio board, you'll come down here. You're going to press mute on the outside one, and then you'll go into the atrium and do the same thing on the one there. Grab your controller again for the TVs, and then now, instead of pressing power button, you're going to press power off. Press power off, and the screens will go off. And also, again, while you're out here, make sure, come to this little guy, press mute, turns the audio off, just like that. Now, going down the line, we're going to turn off our Living as One. We're going to come up to this little guy, the MYR, this little login person. Click on him. And then we're going to click shut down. Again, we're going to confirm that we're shutting down. And that's it for that. So PVP, you can kind of leave on if you want to. It will automatically turn off after a while. It'll log itself out. So we're kind of good there. Now for the lighting. To turn off lighting, what first we're going to do is we're going to come to this little box again. And now it's on event off. We're going to press preset 1 first. So that way all the house lights are back by itself. It's not controlled by the board. So it won't go completely all black and scare anybody. Next, we're going to Little Piggy, Miss Piggy here. But Red Bull will give you wings, pig, and release. And all of our stage lights will shut off. Next, you're going to press our setup button. Press setup. And then there's quit all the way in this bottom right of the screen. And you're going to press that. If you can't get it with your finger, you can also use the mouse. Either way. And then this box will come up to confirm that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, and press shut down. And it'll shut it down. And once it completely turns off, just flip the switch in the back. Next, we're going to come to our little guy here. You're going to press relays and press to turn off, just like it says. Now turn off the relays for us. Now, the last thing to do is go back to that AV control unit closet and turn off all these switches that we turned on for the lighting, and press the big red button this time that says off for the audio. But for the sake of this video, I didn't feel like walking all the way back there, so that's it. Peace out. If you got any questions, call me, text me, or call Caleb. Hold on, I think you all gonna know a good idea of it. So yeah, happy prayer and fasting, guys.